cute little look. So this little tray, it just yep, like I have these like preformed cones that have a filter on the end, and then you just like stick it on this little like funnel thing, and then you just use like I'm using this is what came with it, but this is not anywhere near long enough. That's what she said. And
Okay.
and it just makes it so easy. I'm like, I'm so lazy when it comes to rolling now. Like I can do it, but I'm like, can we just
I
use a
hate
cone?
rolling.
It's so
Yeah.
easy.
So it
It
has a
really made it
filter on the
simple.
end. You're not
Yeah.
raw dogging a joint anymore.
Nope. No more. No more of that.
Nice.
Yep.
Like a cigarette filter.
Yep. And then, well, it's not exactly a cigarette. It's basically just like a piece of
A tip.
cardboard that
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a tip. So you're getting the smoke, but none of the
That's
particulate.
also what she said.
Yeah, just the tip.
So it's like
All right.
like a tip you'd find on like a Swisher Sweet almost. Or like a Black and
Yeah.
Mild. Kind
Yeah,
of.
pretty much.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yep.
hated that when you would get the seeds and shit in your mouth if it wasn't
Yep.
rolled tight enough. Yeah.
Now they come pre-rolled in their own individual containers, and you get a receipt with it and everything.
So yeah, it's like official and shit now. Like
I know.
it's a transaction. Not here,
You
but where you're living your best life, yeah.
and it's like become like there's like deals and stuff. It's almost like shopping at the grocery stores. Like I go to this one on this day because they've got my gummies like buy two get one, and I go to this place on
Nice.
this day because they're like 50%. Yeah, and they all give like industry discounts. Because I work in the industry, they give me a discount. It's usually like, and it's no more than like 25%, but it's still, when you're paying 23.5% in
Oh
taxes,
yeah, that's
that takes
crazy.
care. Yeah, it is.
See,
But if
everyone else, if you fucking tax the shit out of it, you would make more money.
you make more, I think they generated, I think it was like $3 billion the first year that it was recreational, and all of that money goes into like the infrastructure, like
Yeah.
what the water treatment system, the highways,
Yeah.
community services, shit like that. So like Arizona, they're doing it right.
Well, Colorado, same thing. Colorado, there was when they legalized it was billions of dollars in revenue
Hmm.
from tax dollars. And it's like I don't understand. I get the moral blah 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 around it, that it's always been touted as the gateway drug, all of that bullshit.
Hmm.
But I can guarantee you, probably like 8 out of 10 individuals have either smoked weed chronically, tried it at least, something. And
Yeah.
guess what, guys? We're not fucking crackheads.
Nope. And if you are a
So
crackhead, first of all,
that's
bless
your
your
own
heart,
fucking fault.
that's your own fault. But you probably had something going on in your life. Like you probably
Mm-hmm.
have a history, same exact reason why I was a pothead and became a pill addict. I have, and I'm not blaming my family history on my choice to do drugs, but I do have that propensity for addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this little magic plant is what kind of helps me like stay off of the shit. I couldn't
And
have gotten
that's the
sober
whole
without
thing.
it.
What is that? Like emergency drug? No, something with an N.
Narcan.
No, it's something with oxen or some shit like that. That they're making vending machines with it.
Is it like the
Have you heard
overdose
of that?
medicine?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm
No, I
Googling.
haven't. I know that Narcan, I know that there are a lot of overdose
That's why I'm looking at
med
vending machine.
vending. It's naloxone.
Attention. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's like Narcan, like you said, but yeah, they just started here, like the program where it's a vending machine now that you can get these overdose meds from.
Yeah.
And
And then
cool, but before
here. um I've
amateur.
heard a story. This some good shit.
Here you go. Here you go. Have it back.
Yeah. Puff puff pass, bro. Pass puff
Stop
pass.
fucking bogarting it,
Don't
man.
babysit the J, bro. I've heard a story, and I forget where it was. It might have been here that they are going to start keeping it in like high school nurses' offices. You know,
I've heard
which
that. I've heard that like several places.
that's great, but it sucks that it's necessary. You know, because
Yeah.
these kids, they don't know. I mean, if they're taking fentanyl knowingly, then I mean, something's definitely
Well,
there's a deeper problem there. But it's in so many things you don't even realize it.
yeah.
And yeah,
And then you're fucked, basically. And that's the whole thing is I think that the drug pandemic, not pandemic, the drug,
epidemic.
not epidemic either. I think it's like the culture, like the drug culture that we had where we weren't hitting the hard shit in high school. You know,
Mm-mm.
I was doing like coke and speed in high school. I did acid in high school, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like it was as harsh as it is now. As dumb as that probably sounds coming out of my mouth, I don't think it was as dangerous because you were getting it from like your buddy's uncle
Mm-hmm.
that got it
Yeah.
from like somebody in Colombia or somebody who knew
And there,
somebody in like fucking Colombia or Mexico.
yeah. There's just so much, synthetic,
Mm-hmm.
drugs out there, artificial designer drugs. You just don't know what's in it anymore. That's why
Yeah.
I'll take mushrooms every now and then. And I actually saw a really interesting video. I think it was a Nightline video where they were talking about moms who microdose mushrooms, and it's they've done
Okay.
tests that it helps with anxiety and depression, and and a lot of counselors are using it for like trauma therapy and stuff. And what I've heard
Hmm.
it described as when you microdose, and we're talking like 100 milligrams, which is like
Yeah.
not even a gram. And when I trip, I usually do like between 4 and 5 milligrams or 4 and 5 grams. So 100
Yeah.
milligrams is like nothing. And so like you don't even it's not like you're tripping. One lady described it as it's just like a really nice exhale, like a
Mm-hmm.
like she says that she feels more present. She it's just been all around, good for her and her mental well-being, and her being a better mother and being more present, not feeling overwhelmed, and a hundred other things. So, and they're also using ketamine
Yeah.
we were
Like
talking about.
psychotherapy.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about Matthew, what's his name? Matthew Perry,
Yeah.
R.I.P. He was undergoing ketamine therapy. Now, he was also abusing ketamine on top of the therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So there are goods and bads, but I think that if they can figure it out, we can,
I
you
think
know,
there's good and bads in everything, though. That's the whole thing. I think you have good and bad with
for sure.
food, you have good and bad with over the counter anxiety and depression medication. Cause like we
Hmm.
went yesterday, his therapist that he's been seeing since all this stuff is noticed that during his therapy sessions as of late, he is not as involved and in willing to put in the work and just be engaged. So she was like,
Hmm.
I do think she's like, I think he has this disorder. I think he's a candidate for some sort of mood regulation medication. Da 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 da. And I was like, cool. So if he's not going to be doing, like, we decided to like stop therapy for now. And then
Hmm.
she's like, find like an ARPN or a psych doctor that can prescribe him. So we went yesterday, actually met with somebody, and she's basically prescribed him. Um, it's like to boost his serotonin and not epinephrine, but it's neoprene or something like that. Like it's another hormone that regulates like your happiness. And so he's on that now. So I mean, my 13-year-old's on it. I'm on Wellbutrin for anxiety. And she's like, that's very strange because she's like, you don't have depression. And I was like, well, I don't feel like I'm depressed. I was like, not that I am like an expert in really knowing what all like depression really looks like, but I'm not like, and I was
Hmm.
like, she prescribed it to me for like anxiety and so I could quit smoking. And she was like, oh, that makes more sense then for the smoking
Hmm.
cessation and everything. She was like, yeah, but usually it's just, and I'm only like on 150 milligrams. It's not like I'm on like a high ass dosage, but I need a
Hmm.
higher dosage because this shit is not working.
I hated being on Wellbutrin. I had some of the weirdest fucking dreams when I was on Wellbutrin. I didn't like it at
Oh,
all.
well, me and the aliens that I fought last night. I'm down. I like the weird dreams as long as they're like not nightmare-esque
Hold on.
dreams. I'm down for it. That's like our doing shrooms, and I think I'm gonna start growing shrooms. Maybe I'll just start growing some of my own shrooms and see how that goes. Take me back to high school. I'm
Do it, man.
Missy.
I'm Amie.
That's Amie. Yep. And this is where we are. This is
Yeah.
Sunday daylight savings, so I'm tired. You weren't affected by daylight savings because you're in Arizona, other than me going, hey, are you going to record our podcast? Because I don't know what time it is.
Yeah, it only took me 4 years to forget about it.
Only 4 years, no big deal. So, are you looking
The
forward to
first
your
couple of
trip
years,
next
I was
weekend?
stressed about it. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm really
Really?
excited. Yeah, I, yeah, it's gonna be a good time. You know, they're getting in at like 11:45 on Thursday, and
Okay.
then they're gonna come. They're gonna pick up their rental car. They're gonna come to our house, pick us up, and then we're gonna go. It's gonna
You're
be a
gonna
good time.
mad clean your like mom's coming. I'm gonna company clean my house. No,
Nope.
just
Nope.
you're
I'm
not
gonna
you're
do
not
a
biting off.
I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning because a friend of mine is that I work with. He's gonna come over and watch the dog for the weekend because Eric
Okay.
has his weekend with his son this weekend. So
Okay.
Eric's not gonna be here. We looked at like maybe boarding him, but he's not very socialized. He doesn't really know how to behave around other dogs. I don't want
Yeah.
him to hurt another dog. I don't want another dog to hurt him. I don't want him to be quarantined by himself, all weekend.
Yeah.
So my friend John, he's known Winston since Winston was a puppy. So he came over
Yeah.
yesterday, got reacquainted with the dog. We kind of gave him the rundown, and he's just gonna come hang out with Winston and eat our food and smoke our weed.
Nice. And
Yeah,
Steven's gonna be with his dad, and V is gonna go with you, right?
V's going with us. Steven is already in Arkansas.
Okay, yeah, spring break. So V is like an only child this week.
Yeah, they
How's
are.
that? Are they excited? They're gonna be like, you can stay away. I know that's how I was. My brother would go away. I'd be like, no,
I
you
don't
can
think
go.
they've got a really good relationship. They've got a pretty close relationship. They hang out all the time. There's not a lot of bickering going on. They
Oh,
annoy
that's
each
nice.
other just like
Yeah. So they're
siblings do,
siblings.
but yeah, they actually they enjoy hanging out with one another. So I don't think they're obviously going to miss each other, but I don't think that V is going to mind that he's gone because
Yeah.
they really want to go to Sedona. They're excited.
Oh, that's fun. My older two are getting along really, knock on fake
They're in
wood, really well lately.
they're in cahoots. You need to watch your ass.
I think like all the shit that Witten went through, I think has brought them a lot closer. I really do.
Really?
So
I mean, it's
yeah,
sad that
because
it had to happen, but it's good that that was the result.
like one silver lining. Like Micah had his tonsil adenoids out on Tuesday, or not Tuesday, Thursday. So like she took him to breakfast before school Thursday
Oh,
while we were heading
nice.
out and stuff, and then she bought everybody lunch on Friday because we were all home together, and she waited until he got home from school, and I was like, okay,
Wow.
yeah.
Look at your
So
kids being all getty
you know.
alongy and stuff. That's
It's
awesome.
a long time. I thought that this would never get there because the term loathe doesn't even like come close to how like their relationship was like 2 years ago on
Mm-hmm.
her end anyway. He was like, I love you, and she's like, I fucking hate you. Just get out of my bubble.
That's awesome.
She's
That's funny.
she's running across the hall, so be quiet.
Are you talking
Bitch
about
be ear
me?
hustling. Bitch be ear hustling. Ear hustling.
Yep.
So yeah. Yeah. So stoned Micah is my new favorite Micah.
Stoned
They
Micah?
Yes, because he was
What did
under
they give that
anesthesia.
baby?
They knocked him out,
Oh.
tonsils out. So they had like we could not record it. They had literally signs everywhere that recording the patient is like a HIPAA violation. Da 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 da.
Even if
But
it's your
like we
kid?
go, yes, we go back there, and he's like he leans up and he's hugging the nurse just around her waist, like he's so fucking stoned, and she's like taking his oxygen off and stuff. And he's like,
Oh.
he goes, am I done? Like, yeah, you're done. He goes, okay. Is that her tonsil anymore? No, you don't have tonsil anymore. And he goes, where am I? I was like, you're at the hospital, like you're getting your tonsilloids out. He goes, did Dr. Holly, that's his doctor, did Dr. Holly help? And I was like, yeah, like Dr. Holly, he did it. He goes, do I have tonsils anymore? And I was like, no. And he goes, I was like, okay.
What a sweet
Oh my God.
baby.
He could not keep his head up and he just kept going, are we done? I was like, yeah, we're done. Okay. Yeah, it was funny. And then to watch
Oh
him,
my gosh.
I had to dress him, and I haven't had to dress him in a while. And it's funny because like 2 or 3 days before his surgery, he goes, that thing that I pee out of, it's got hair all around it now. And I was like, cool. That's pubic hair. He was like, yeah, it makes me itchy. And I was like, that's great, buddy. I'm so glad we can have this conversation. Whatever. So I had to put his
Openness.
underwear and his pants on him. And I was like, you do have ball hair down there. Cool. Can we get it?
Oh.
Like, I had to like dick dodge almost because he was so unsteady.
Just
Shit.
like a water wiggle.
Yeah. And he was
Oh,
walking like
Micah's growing
it
up.
was so great. But it was like we were laughing so fucking hard because he was like meditating at one point, like this with his hands, like just sitting up. I was like, oh my God, like this, we can't record this. And this is like, for posterity, it would have been the shit. So
Posterity and blackmail.
I know. That
Not that
would have
you'd
been
ever
great for
need it for
like,
Micah.
no, he has no fucks, like none or no fucks given. Literally zero. So, but yeah, so we went through that. Like the worst part was him getting his IV because like he's never had an IV or anything. So he was like screaming and like kids
Did they
that were
put it
like
in his
littler.
hand?
No, they put it in his arm, but
Good.
he's never had it. And I think he equated it with like when he got his toenail removed and
Yeah.
yeah, chunky. But I think he thought it was going to hurt longer than it did. So he was like, no. And we were like holding him down. He was like, I want
Mhm.
to stop. I want to stop. And I was like, bro, just, and then he didn't want me to leave. And I was like, it was like a toddler. Like I had to like, okay, we got to go. Like we're out. I felt horrible. Oh, my
Poor
baby. But
baby.
his breath smells god awful right now. And he's
Oh,
just
how long does
chilling.
he have to wait?
It's like that like cauterization smell that's making it
Mhm.
smell so bad. It's gross. It's gonna
Oh,
last for
okay.
like 2 weeks.
Ugh.
But he's chilling on hydrocodone every 4 hours. He's living his best life. So you got
Wow.
that good shit, man. Liquid form. So you know
I
it kicks in
hate
quick.
I hate hearing that he's on that. I get that it's necessary, but it's just like, oh God, I wish it wasn't necessary, you know? But I
Yeah.
don't want him to be a pain.
Yeah, that's my whole thing is I don't but and they were like they give us like they prescribed ibuprofen. And my insurance is
Mhm.
like, we're not gonna pay for something you can get over the counter. And so I was like, so Kevin was there. I was like, how much is the ibuprofen prescription? He's like, $30. I was like, fuck that shit. Walk your butt over and get some fucking great value ibuprofen away into my list of stuff. Did those
Let's do
links
it.
didn't come through very well, did they?
I mean, I can see where like like they're all like kind of like squished together, but I can see where they're like separated out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vanderpump Rules has been in like the pop culture sphere for the last, I guess, they just started a new season probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. And
Mhm.
then last year we had and you don't watch the show, and I just started watching the show because I don't have a life. And it's Lisa Vanderpump from like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's her restaurant, Sir, in West Hollywood.
Mhm.
And it's been on since like 2013. And it's
Mhm.
basically like all of the people that work for her, which is baffling that these people have been on this show for like 10 years now. And like a lot of them still have to work at Star because Bravo is not paying them like dick. Like
Dude,
her mean.
Go ahead.
Her manager, he's been on the show for 11 years and he's been getting paid like a little bit. This season, they asked him to appear unpaid because they didn't have it in the budget to pay him. Bravo did.
No, no.
And he was like, yeah, that's why you're not seeing me on this season because they didn't want to pay me. I'm like, good on you, buddy. For real.
That's a big reason why don't let me say that let me preface, I think this is the reason why, because I don't know all the ins and outs, but my friend Lonnie, who was on my 600-pound life, they keep pressing him to do a like where are they now kind of like episode,
Yeah.
because he and his brother's episodes, they have 2 regular episodes and then a one after episode, like after
Okay.
all of the weight loss. They want them to do, because their episodes were some of the most popular in that show's history. They keep pressing them to do another one, but they don't. But they've treated that family so horribly, and they don't want to pay them for the episode. Like, it's just like, oh well, you have a social media following now, I mean,
Yeah,
this will just
because
be
of
a
it.
win-win. And Lonnie's like, no, I'm not
No,
going
yeah.
back into that toxic situation if you're not even going to pay me.
Is
That's
this
just, I'm not a
Bravo?
fucking masochist. No, that's
TLC?
TLC. Yeah, but I
Okay.
mean,
And he
reality
doesn't get
television.
residuals for reruns or
Mm-mm.
anything like that, does he? Oh, that's
Nope.
such bullshit, man.
Nope.
If people knew, especially in like the world of streaming, if they'd had an attorney that say, no, your contract needs to be like, you get residuals for all of the reruns. Because look at all the real world kids and shit, that all of that stuff
Mm-hmm.
is now on Paramount Plus, all of that. And they could, I mean, granted, there's been like stories of like Jennifer Aniston and people, they get like a 20-cent check from something they did like 20 fucking years ago. They'll get like a 20,
Mm-hmm.
30-cent check for like a rerun residual and stuff. But I
Yeah.
mean, especially if his episode is super popular in the day and age of streaming, can you imagine?
Yeah.
That's the crap of it all. But
Exactly.
yeah, that's kind of what I was reading because I was like, how much? Because now, like this season, I accidentally started watching this season before I realized it wasn't the first season, and I was like, this show looks like really fucking new, and I know this has been on a while. Look, I'm not pretty and I'm not smart. I just am. But
You
this is
are
where we're living life.
pretty,
I
and you're
spelled my own
very
name
smart.
wrong this week, just so you're aware. Yeah. And the girl was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just not." I was like, "It's Monday, take 2. I don't even know what's happening."
Oh my gosh,
So,
that's so funny.
but okay, so it's her restaurant. It's her like bartenders. Like Tom Sandoval was like, I don't know if you've heard like the Tom Sandoval Aria Maddox where he cheated on her, and they'd been
Mm-hmm.
together for like a long fucking time. He cheated on her with like one of her friends that's also one of the cast members.
Ooh.
So that's been in the news. And then Jax Taylor and Brittany Cartwright are people on the show that they have been together for like 9 years, married for 5. They have a kid. Well, the big news in like the last couple weeks was that they were separating. Like she went last Sunday on their podcast and was like, we're separating right now. Like I am moving into my own house for my own mental health. And he is
Mm-hmm.
like, no, we're not separated. He was like, we're still living together. But then like TMZ is like pictures of Brittany Cartwright. So moving and like she's moving, like literally she's got like the fucking shit coming out of her SUV, like moving into a rental home. And he's disgusting as fuck. Like he's that guy that will fuck anything with a hole.
Oh,
Doesn't
he's
matter.
Justin.
Worse than.
Oh.
Worse than Justin. Yeah.
Ew.
Worse than Justin. Like yeah. Hundreds of like probably yeah, he's gross. Like he's like one of those, he's like, I don't want to be your friend. I just want to fuck you. And so he was with this
Ew.
girl. There's been all kinds of these people cheat on each other. Like it's friendlies. It's literally friendlies. It
It's
is.
friendly pump rules.
Yes, but it's like upscale. It's not like super white trash people.
That's gross. I don't like that.
Instead of
And people
90 of them
watch
living
this,
in one shitty apartment, they all live in like their own little shitty apartments.
but aren't they like in Hollywood? Aren't they in,
Yeah,
isn't
they're in
it's in
West
very
Hollywood.
Hollywood? West Hollywood,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. Yeah. Well, West Hollywood's kind of like Irving. I've been
It's the gay
told.
it's apparently it's the LA neighborhood.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But
So
something about neighborhoods, at least the neighborhoods I used to hang out in, like, you, like, could
Oakland
go
was not a
to
nice area,
no,
if we think
it
about
might be
yeah.
different now because, gentrification rules, but,
Yeah.
like, the neighborhood in Fort Worth, don't be a white girl
Mm-mm.
walking around by yourself at night.
No.
You will get
Yeah.
kidnapped or turned out, something will happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're walking around with
Turned
a bunch
out
of drag
means
queens, then
maybe
you'll be
you're a
fine.
sex worker. That's what
A
turned out means for you people
sex
don't know. It
worker.
means you get
Yeah,
turned into, so you get trafficked basically.
get that's
So
how you
yeah,
end up down on, what was that road
Ted
in,
Hines.
Harry Hines, that's right, you end up
Yeah.
on Harry Hines out there
You
with
remember
Bandcamp.
we went hooker hunting for band camp one time.
Yep, and,
So
in Fort
that's
Worth, it was Rosedale. Rosedale was
yeah,
the stroll that they yeah, that's
the
what they call it,
stroll.
the
Oh
stroll.
man.
Yep.
I got into a discussion with one of a client or something, and we were talking about how we'd moved here from Houston. And he brought up like so where Kevin worked in Houston, like two exits up was like the stroll.
Mhm,
And in DFW, like when the sun goes up, the working girls go to bed, right?
mhm.
In
Not in
Houston, when the
Houston.
sun goes up, they're
The
still
day
there.
shift
Like,
comes out.
yes. Or they just work and they're like, I've not made my nut yet. I still have to keep
Mm,
going. Um, and Witten played football, and like his football league was like kind of based like a little bit over there. So we would have to drive down the street, and you like, we're like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. We'd get up to like 20, 25 spottings.
oh,
But
wow.
one of my clients, I was talking to him, and somehow he brings up like this area. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally fucking. He like brings up like the sex workers and stuff. He was like, it was an interesting. And I was like, I mean, this is the most random, like non-prompted conversation I've ever had professionally. And if you know me, that's a shocker.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I was like, I was like, my husband used to work over there. I know exactly. My son played football. I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about. He was like, oh, so you do? And I'm like, yeah, I do. But anyhoodles, so yeah, that is the Britney. Like literally, it's been Vanderpump, Vanderpump, Vanderpump because this Ariana Madix, Josh, or oh, fuck, what's his name? Tom Sandoval. 'Cause there's two Toms, Tom and Tom, and they have a bar named Tom Tom. And
Of
so
course they do.
Tom had, well, that was Lisa's idea. They're business partners with Lisa. There's like junior partners where they are like have like 5% interest. So she named it and
Okay.
all of that shit because that's the season I'm in right now.
Okay.
So Tom Sandoval did Ariana Madix for like 10 years, and he cheats on her with Raquel Levis, I think is her last name. She decides she's suing Tom and Ariana for like basically circulating revenge porn. And I guess
Ooh.
the way Ariana found out that Tom was cheating on her was because she found a video on Tom's phone, allegedly, since there's a case going on, of
Mhm.
Raquel masturbating and had sent it to him. Yeah.
Ooh.
And so but Ariana come out and said, like, when this happened years ago, she had sent the whole cast like a cease and desist letter. She was like, I only saw like 5 minutes of it. I definitely didn't show it to anybody. So
Mhm.
she's suing both of them for damages. And it was just so kind of funny because, like, Lisa Vanderpump, she came out and she was like, look, if you don't want people to see your sex tape, don't send it to your best friend's boyfriend. It's pretty fucking simple.
Yeah, that's day one stuff.
Yeah. It's
God,
like, are
could
you
you
new
imagine
here?
if we were famous, we could sue all of the trashy ass dudes that used to run around on us. We would be filthy
Oh my
rich.
God.
We could sue
Well,
them for damages, and we would be set for life.
yeah. My tits would be because my friend Caleb, he probably has like hours of my tits on camera. Like in their heyday. I need to hit him up on Facebook and be like, do you still have my tits on film so I can see you back in the good old days? But he's also not like the revenge porn type. So,
Mhm.
because he's got like video of my friend eating out her other friend in front of her boyfriend,
Mhm.
and her boyfriend going, I wanted a threesome for my birthday, and it was like around his birthday. He's like, but I know that if I join in, I'm gonna get in trouble. Like that's shit that he's like holds on to. And this is from like 20 years ago. I mean, like
Wow.
I'm like, okay, cool. Like
That's kind
I
of
should like
sad,
record
honestly.
over that tape.
Yeah, just remember it. Just get rid of it. It's
Yeah.
not going to do anything but cause problems.
No, not even a little bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been Vanderpump. Everything has been Vanderpump, 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 Vanderpump lately. But I guess that makes sense because I think that this cast too, you can tell from like at the beginning of the show that they really kind of know how to drive their own drama or create
Yeah.
situations, or they're just toxic, shitty fucking individuals. Like there's one, I guess her name is Sheena Shea. Um, she is now making Tom and Ariana's bullshit because she's Ariana's best friend about her to cover up that her husband's cheating on her and doesn't spend time with her and their kid. Like that's all in the news. So it's
That's
a whole
sad.
ass train wreck. It's a whole
I
train
hate it
wreck, and I
when
love it.
like when you break up with so like when like it's almost like when a dude cheats on the a mom, and then he's like he won't spend time with the family. It's like, why are you breaking up with the kid? You know, like you cheated
Yeah,
on the
kid
wife,
did
that
anything.
happened. Yeah, why do you have to break up the kid? You know,
But he's not
it's just
breaking up
sad.
with her. He's not leaving her. He's like, that's her meal ticket, or his meal ticket is her because she's been on the
Mm,
show since like its inception. And I guess
mm-hmm.
he either owns a gym. Like I've seen reports where he either owns a gym or he's like a personal trainer. He doesn't have a job or something. Like he's her assistant. So he's not like, these are her like going, no, he's not cheating on me. It's not happening, kind of bullshit to kind of deflect to save her own skin.
Ugh.
But it's good.
Lisa,
It's a whole
how do
train
you
wreck. Eh,
how does a person on one of these shows, especially a show like this, where like they're like all the characters seem to be very strategic in
yeah.
like driving their own narrative and like trying to like but like eventually you will need to go into the real world, and how do
Yeah.
you like forge a meaningful relationship, whether it be platonic or otherwise, with somebody when you're all over the TV? I mean, can you really just lean on the, oh, it's for TV, it's all for TV? But
Yeah.
if you're the one that's being this calculated and all that, that exists somewhere in you. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not any
You have
different
those
than,
like conniving, manipulative traits to begin
yeah,
with, and you
yeah,
just are
it's
now
not any different than like the
exposed to
Gypsy
it.
Rose shit, like she already had, we know that she has those manipulative abilities because
Mm-hmm.
she was trained very, very
By
well
her.
by
Yeah.
a master manipulator. And we're trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but how it would always
It's
just be in the
hard
back of my
to.
mind, like, can
Yeah.
I really trust this person? Am I just a stepping stone for them? I don't know. It's
See,
reality
yeah. I
TV.
think.
It's great, but it's an evil, evil empire.
Oh, yeah. It turns like some of the best people, I think, into shitty individuals, or
Mhm.
um like we see with like Love is Blind. Supposedly they do psych checks, but this past week's episode proved that is a lie. Um
Yeah, they may do a psych check, but they don't take the healthy ones.
Oh no, they're like, yes, let's
Like,
pick that
wow, you're
one.
well rounded and very well adjusted. Denied.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
don't need you. This isn't
No.
PBS.
And exactly. And like their reunion for Love is Blind is coming up this Wednesday, and I'm here for it because the one crazy girl of the season, Chelsea, um, dude broke up with her because she's just like, she's that manipulative, like he's not paying attention to me, so I'm gonna pick a fight kind of manipulative, little cuckoo bird kind of shit going on. And he dumps
Mhm.
her because of this trait. But now like Netflix is showing like clips of their reunion, and like what she's a bigger girl. Like she's not like your tiny petite, like she's tall, like she's just curvy. She's a bigger girl. And when she met Homeboy for the first time outside of the pods, like she ran, and her Spanx were not tight enough to keep, like I was just watching
Oh,
like her belly button jump up and down. Um
can't
well,
do
now
that, girlfriend.
Netflix is now like running like loop during the reunion of like her doing that, and like them like
Oh
Vanessa Lachey
no.
basically making like a joke of it. And I'm like, fuck, you just set like the fat girl movement back so
Mm,
far.
yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks
Thanks.
a lot.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
And whatever shapewear
So
she's wearing, I want to know what brand that is so that I don't buy it. It's probably Skims.
look, yeah. Skims have missed an opportunity, is I think what happened. Kim's gonna be like, no
Kim,
worries, girl. Come over
I got
here.
you.
Let me get you some Skims on.
Let me get you a
So
couple doses of Ozempic. We're gonna make you. We're gonna
exactly.
make you. We're gonna make you a Kardashian. We're gonna make you
There
Kardashian.
we go. Kardashian. So that's my my reality show roundup for this week because that's all I do now with my time.
Well, that's perfectly all right because I've been pretty invested in Drag Race for. I mean, the season is current, and so I watch episodes of Drag Race, and then they have something. It's kind of like a behind the scenes, like when the judges are doing their deliberating and deciding who's in the top, who's in the bottom, who's going home, and all that. The queens go back and they talk about like the critiques that they got and like who they think is going home, and it's very dramatic and there's shade and reading, and it's great. So that's called Untucked. And then
Okay.
there is another show. It's called What You Packin'. And when the queen that goes home, it's like an interview style show with one of the judges named Michelle Visage. And basically
Okay.
they go through the looks that the queen presents during her time on the show, and they talk about it, and then she always has like several looks that she didn't get to present,
Yeah,
like because
for
she went home.
sure.
And so there's the regular show, there's What You Packin', there's Untucked, and then there's another show where previous winners it's like an interview show where they discuss the episode. So there's one host,
Okay.
her name is Trixie Mattel, and she's the host, and then they will have previous winners come on. Well, they're not all winners, but they're queens that have been on the show. And
Yeah,
so and
former
then they
cast
talk.
members.
Yeah, and they pick apart the episode and they say who they think is going to win, who their favorites are. So four different shows for one season of Drag Race. So I'm
Okay.
very invested in that. So I get it. Like I may not be into Vanderpump Rules, but I get where that like little obsession tick. Like
Oh,
you got to
yeah.
get everything that you can.
I'm watching all of that, and then like they have like Bravo has like Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, which
Yeah.
he's not hosting it right now because the allegations of like cocaine use and stuff against him right now.
Mhm.
But there's that where the cast members go on and they talk shit about each other, like on what happened this episode on that show. It's fucking great. And now like this season, like this is why I got to get caught up. Like I'm in midway through like season 7. I have season 11 is airing right now, and because now they have Vanderpump the after show
Mhm.
where it's like the cast members coming on and they're like, yeah, that was fucked up that you said. Like they no like these are like us where we had no fucks and we were confrontational 20 years ago. These
Mhm.
women are our age now. Like when they started the show, they were in their, like late 20s, early 30s. Now they're in
Mhm.
their 40s, still waiting tables, but now they're famous.
Can you imagine if
Can't
we
get
were
my
still
mind around
waiting
that.
tables?
Fuck my life. Kill me. Fucking kill me. I would hate if I had to be in like the food industry right now, I'd probably fucking throw myself in front of a train.
Nope. I'd rather be
Yeah,
homeless.
couldn't do it. Yeah, I'd rather live in my car. I
Yeah.
would like fully invest in van life. Like that's where we would like be living. But I would have like a shitty van down by the river, not like a good one. Like I would be like
Not a
that
good
Chris
one.
Farley warning. No.
Nice.
And all I'd have for me is that Chris Farley, like I'm living in a van down by the river impression while I live in my van down by the river. Like I'm
You're
not
just
living like in a Sprinter
sitting by
van.
the
Like I'm
river,
living like in a fucking 1996 Ford Windstar
like a
with my
or
3
like
kids.
a white panel van, like a kidnap van.
No, I can't even afford that large of a van because I can't afford the
Aw,
gas.
it's true.
I'm
These
having
are
like a
hey
30.
anything.
So
Have you seen the new Mean Girls?
I started watching it today and I got to the part where she's meets Aaron Samuels for the first time.
Okay, I have not seen it yet.
And
Oh, so it's a remake. It's not a sequel.
no, it's not, but it's almost verbatim the first movie with music thrown in.
Oh.
And it's not good music. It's
Oh,
not like a
boo.
good, yeah. Um, I think I'm like 3 songs in and it's just not great.
Now, is it just that are you a musical person? Like do you
Yes, I
typically
love
enjoy musical?
musicals.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, then that's disappointing cuz like if you're just
Mhm.
not a musical person, like a lot of people are and like Claire Eric tries to claim that he is, then you,
Sick
I can
burn, shade
understand not
thrown.
enjoy. I can see how you wouldn't enjoy, because sometimes it's very awkward to like watch a movie and then all of a sudden all the characters just burst into song,
No,
you
I am
know, and
here
it's
for it. I love it. It
yeah,
makes no sense, but I love it. I love it. And
yeah.
like, it's just kind of like Regina George. She's like, I'm a big deal. Like that's her song. Is like she's Regina George and she's a big deal. And you're
Well,
like, okay. And
my name
then
is
when
Amie and I like to go to
Katie,
head. Big deal.
bitch, okay, that's a big deal right there. Okay. But and then like when Katie meets John, like meets him for the first time, she like sings about how thank you, Math. I love you, Math, because you brought me this cute boy. And it's not good.
Okay.
It's just not. Like lyrically, I
That's
was
gross.
like,
I don't like that.
I was like, I'm bored already. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this off. So I
You
did.
know, the first one was so good. I didn't I was on
Mm-hmm.
board with them doing like a musical, but I mean with it's like everything has to be a movie now. Like every book has to be a movie, every musical that comes out has to be a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, you know, because it kind of
No.
and it I guess I can see it both ways, because like I've never been to see a Broadway show, but I've seen Phantom of the Opera and Les Mis and Rent and all of those.
Yeah.
Um and I may never get to go see a Broadway show, because I at least can say that I've seen them, but it kind of takes away like the specialness of it, I guess. You know, like
See,
the
we went to
whole
go see
thing.
Chicago in Dallas when it came through, and it was Lisa Rinna, which and it was fantastic, and I loved it.
Oh,
And like
awesome.
I would love to go to Broadway and see Hamilton. Like if I could get the cast from Rent the movie to do Rent on Broadway for me, just for me, nobody else. I don't care
Oh,
for the
that would
rest of
be
you.
amazing.
I would have the best lady boner ever. Telling you. Um, so Adina Menzel, if you want to give me a lady boner, do a bitch a solid, okay? Like I would love to see all of that. Like I love musicals. Like it's ridiculous how much I love musicals.
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm
So the
checking in on my
opposite of
eagles.
musicals. No worries. So
I'm obsessed with these eagles at Big Bear Lake in California. They do like this wildlife live stream for 24, like it's 24 hours a day. And I will check in. I mean, it's like I'm checking on my children, because they're
oh, like
sitting on
they're little babies.
it's two full grown, it's a mated pair of bald eagles, and they
Okay.
currently have 3 eggs, and we are on pip watch. We are waiting for the
Okay.
eggs to hatch. And so like every now and then I will check in and see like what's going on, like who's sitting on the nest. Is it Shadow? Is it Jackie? And then like
Okay.
last week or a week and a half ago, whenever it was, when California was getting all of that really fucked up winter weather, I
Yeah.
was checking it every hour, because I'm like, oh, what's wrong? Are they okay?
Are they
And like
okay?
that one time, Jackie sat on her eggs for like a 62-hour stretch, like set a record. Like she was
Nice.
momming hard. So like and it's very. They have had one clutch. They had one clutch of non-viable eggs, and this is their
Okay.
third clutch, which is very unusual for American bald eagles. So, you know, they're previously endangered, but they're still like they're not at a point where like we can't start killing eagles. Like first of all, they're a
Yeah.
protected species because they're our national symbol.
America.
But you know, it's not like, you know, the buffalo were almost extinct and then they went endangered, but now they're not anymore. So now
Yeah.
that's why we have buffalo meat and stuff like that. But I've gone on way too long about these damn eagles, but I'm
No, I'm
so
here for it.
excited for them.
Send me the link and I'll put it in like the show notes. And so anybody else
Okay.
that wants to watch these Eagles mom hard and with Amie and obsess over it, I'll put it in the show notes and you guys can go
Okay.
watch too. So, all
Okay.
right.
So
Well,
the
speaking of
opposite of
Eagles,
oh,
you segue queen. You
that
segue queen for us. Wait, look at you eagling it up. Because
I didn't even
this is
mean
a
to
sports
segue that
podcast.
perfectly.
We are a sports podcast here as long as it involves some sort of Taylor Swift adjacent kind of shit. So Jason Kelce finally retired for right now, which has
Hmm.
been like the last 2 years. He's like, I'm going to retire. So he actually announced that he is going to retire after playing 13 years in the NFL. Did you watch any of like the video of him retiring?
Yeah, I did.
And like Travis is like fucking crying and shit. And then like their
Hmm.
podcast. like, I love, especially being a mom of 2 boys, like, I love their relationship, and it makes me
Yeah.
wish that, they like, my kids had that like connection with like a sport or something because I mean my boys are
Yeah.
2.5 years apart, and I wish that that's something because like even on their podcast they're talking about how Travis is like, I think that like if being in this industry without you, he was like, you were always like someone that I was trying to make myself better for you. And like they're tearing up talking to each
Oh,
other, and I'm like, look how much they love each other. It was so sweet.
that's a sign of they were raised properly.
Yeah, no, I think that they're because I mean, you watch all this stuff from them and they're very typical boys. Like they Travis like pile drove or no, Jason pile drove Travis into the floor so hard that they broke the hardwood floor. And they just pulled when they're kids, and so they pulled the couch or something, they pulled some kind of piece of furniture over it. And the parents didn't know that they did it until years later when they divorced and sold that house.
That's
And I'm
hysterical.
like, man, they're just like typical boys. And I'm like, I know, like Joe and I, we were like that. We were like fucking shit up that our parents would have never known about until like whatever. But yeah, I was like, man, like, I'm kind of glad that I don't have that because we got subfloor and like, what if one of the kids like power drove another kid through like the floor and it came into the basement? And you just see like legs hanging down. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck
You
are
come
you
home,
doing?
come home, and the
Yeah.
living room is mysteriously rearranged.
Yeah. Yeah. We just cleaned real hard, Mom. Yeah, the fuck you did. So yeah, that was a great
Well,
segue. You bringing up your Eagle talk, and then we could talk
I
about
know.
Eagles.
Well, do you think that he will stay retired, or do you think that he will like take a year off, realize how much he misses it, pull a Tom Brady, basically?
No, I think he has so many more opportunities, especially when it was brother against brother in the Super Bowl. They have their podcast that's like number one on iTunes for like a year now. They are the number one podcast on iTunes. He's
Mm-hmm.
got three very small little girls,
Yeah, they're
and I
cute
think
too.
he's going to take the time to be a dad. And he's gonna get to like he's gonna have like commentary gigs and coaching gigs just fucking thrown at him
Yeah,
left and right. So I think so
yeah,
because he did say like he's looking forward to now getting to actually go to his brother's games and watch more of his games and like cheer him on and stuff like that. So
that's
I think he's gonna
awesome.
we'll probably see him take like a full year off and just be like a dad, and
Mm-hmm.
then probably something from there. I don't think he's the type to not like he's a fucking garden and shit. Like he has a farm where it's like responsibly like grown like vegetables and meat and all of that stuff. Like he has a lot of side things that he could do to keep busy. So
Okay,
it's not like football is
good
his
for
end all
him.
be all.
It's so he's not like Tom Brady, where football is literally all he has.
Yeah, football and a cleft chin. That's all he's got.
Cleft chin, yeah, because you don't got a supermodel wife anymore.
Nope, but Giselle said goodbye and I'm taking my voodoo doll and I'm poking the shit out of it. You're gonna lose.
I'm gonna take all your money and
With
your dignity
I
and
think
your kids.
I think when he retired and came back to play for Tampa Bay, I think that's when his dignity went away. Granted, he went to I
Oh,
think
for
they did
sure.
really well, but still, he went from like a legacied Patriots to Tampa Bay, and you're like Tampa Bay, but then they performed well because the
Hmm.
Bruja she blessed them,
Hmm.
and then once that was done, and the Bruja said no more, I'm taking my voodoo doll, we're going away.
And we're going
So,
home,
yep, taking my voodoo doll and going home, bitches. So,
bitches.
bitches. So, yeah,
Well, good luck to you, Jason Kelce. Looking forward to
yeah,
see you in Taylor's box at Travis's games.
multiple, yeah. So,
What? He's actually right because you should have caught
what do you
that.
say? What?
He said that
Oh,
sounds really
Taylor's
dirty, and I
box?
said Taylor's box.
Yeah, yeah. I knew the minute you muted, he was going to say something about being all up in Taylor's box. I think for one, if he wasn't, Kylie is a bad bitch. Like she don't fuck around.
Yeah.
She even said in like their documentary, she was like, "We have these girls that come around, and they're like, oh," she was like, "This is mine." And she pointed, he's sitting next, she's like, this is mine. And I will fuck you
Mhm.
up because this is mine. And I was like, yes,
Right, she will.
bitch.
Yes, she
Yes.
will.
Don't you lick my
Yeah.
dick. Don't you look
Little
at my dick. That's my dick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Do you want a little update on Steven in Arkansas?
Yeah.
So he has a big brother from Will's first marriage, and his name is Will, also Will Jr. And apparently, Will's buddies Matt and Brock are visiting from out of town, and Steven and Will went with Matt and Brock to go kayaking and go camping.
How fun. So he gets to
I
be, he's
know.
not like the baby brother anymore. He gets to go do like, because I
He
mean,
gets to be a
those
dude.
kids were, gosh, the last time when you were married to Will, the last time they were like older. They weren't young, like little ones anymore.
Um,
So they're adults now, right?
yeah. So William has, I think he's 22, 23 now, and
Okay.
he actually just had a baby not long ago, and then Zoe is she's 21. Yeah, so they're grown.
Yeah. They're adults now. So,
Mhm.
oh, how nice. I love
I'm
that for
glad he's having a
him.
good
So,
time. I
yeah,
had to
that always
like take
helps.
him. This was the very first time that he flew by himself. And like I had to drop him off at security, and he was just like, he hugged me really tight, and he was just like, I'm gonna be
Hmm.
okay. I'm gonna be okay. And I'm just like, I know, I'm sorry for being psycho helicopter mom. He's like, it's just how you are. I understand. And I was just
Like,
like, oh,
which
my
just,
son,
that's our
I don't deserve
job.
you. I know.
That's the whole thing is I know I find myself always like, be careful, I love you. And there was something I said to him, he was like, yeah, I know every time you tell me. And I was like, it's in the fucking handbook. I get fined if
Hmm.
I don't. All right.
They'll come and take you away if I don't do
Yeah.
this stuff. So
Yeah. I don't need another
just
bill showing up in the mail, bucko.
yeah, got enough of those. You're expensive
Mm,
enough. I don't need another bill for you.
full ass facts. I can't, not looking forward to this psychiatry bill coming through. I don't know how that's